I now present the 16th president of Occidental College, Harry J. Elam, Jr.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you. So, I gotta say, this is some serious jewelry. So thank you, Alejo, for that wonderful introduction. And as Alejo said, he was one of the 2 student members of the Presidential Search Committee. Thank you all for being here today. I am so grateful also for all the music in the ceremony, the beautiful vocal tones of Lencia Cabede, the joyful stylings of the jazz ensemble and symphony, the deeply moving original piece by Adam Schoenberg, and the lively choral sounds of the Oxy Glee Club. Many thanks to Brenda Shockley, Bob Johnson, Tuan No, Charlotte Fett, Tiffany Wright, and Ellie Findell for sharing your ideals for Oxy and welcoming me to the challenge of helping you realize them. My deep appreciation goes out to my very good friends, Stephen Roberta Denning, Sterling K. Brown, and Ryan Bethay, for so generously taking up their time and coming here today to speak on my behalf. Thank you. I'm touched. And of course, special thanks to my truly amazing aunt, the Ambassador Harriet Elam Thomas, for her always keen insight. I'd also like to give a shout out to my friends and family, some of whom traveled considerable distance to be here. In the audience today are Elams, Clarks, Ruffs, Holmes, Walkers, Birnbaums, and more. Love and appreciation to my dear older sister, Patricia, professor at Howard University, an award-winning author. She's someone who I've always admired. My deep thanks to my daughter, Claire, who has taught me so much about the gift of parenthood. And I am so grateful for Michelle, my wife, my life, my soul, my confidant, my love. In all things along the journey of life, including our time here at Oxy, she has always been there with me and for me. Joining with us today are presidents and representatives from colleges and universities across the country. Welcome and thank you. Also in attendance are 2 former Occidental College presidents, President Veach and President Schottheim. I am very grateful to them for their presence here today and for all they've done to build Occidental. Then there are those who are no longer here on this earth, who I know would have loved to see this day. My father and mother, my father-in-law, and my brother. And while I miss their physical presence dearly, I feel their spirit with me today, and I draw on their strength, their integrity on this day as I accept this newish, role of Occidental College president. Now, candidly, when I accepted this position, I assumed that I was the first Black president of Occidental. I'm not. John Slaughter, who could not be here today, was installed as president in 1988. The fact that Occidental has 2 Black presidents, something no other small liberal arts college that I know, except potentially HBCU, can claim, says so much about this college. About its progressivism, its openness to different modes of leadership, its willingness to embrace change. I am so very proud to be here at this college with this history and with such rich possibilities. Well, it took 2 years, but we're finally here today, inauguration. With this ceremony, on this date, I officially become president. But, I probably should have checked to make sure that those 500 diplomas I signed and handed out in commencement last May are valid. Now, it's not overstating the case to say that this has been a rather interesting and eventful 2 years for both Oxy and me. We have experienced and encountered so much. Despite isolation, we have found new ways to come together, to empathize and care for one another, even when held apart. You know, I'm starting to think that every new president should have to wait 2 years to do their inauguration. It makes for a very different inauguration speech. At the outset of this speech, I want to say it is with joy that I'm able to share with you that we have met a critical milestone in the Oxy campaign for good. As of this week, we surpassed the initial campaign goal. Now, not many presidents can say they met a comprehensive campaign goal before they even got inaugurated. So special thanks to the team for their hard work over the last 2 years. And with 1 year still to go with this extraordinary community, I am confident that we will only continue to build. For all of us, as we know, the last years have been, to varying degrees, determined and defined by COVID-19. This pandemic will have an enduring impact on our college specifically and on our world more generally. The virus has painfully exposed those social structures that need to be remade and those inequities that need to be dismantled. With the decision to go remote in July of 2020, Michelle and I initially spent over a year living on a campus populated by more coyotes than students. While COVID has taken its toll, we have also operated in an increasingly urgent period of racial reckoning and disheartening racial retrenchment. The rise of anti-AAPI violence, anti-Semitism, anti-Black racism, anti-LGBTQIA legislation all occur at a time when our country becomes, like Occidental, increasingly diverse in all ways. In addition, the world now stands on edge as we all bear witness to the crisis in Ukraine and Russia's brutal aggression. Far from being immune to these pressing concerns, the Oxy community steps up in many ways, both bold and subtle, to engage rather than retreat from these social and political realities. For Oxy has a long and complex history of involvement with social justice, and the work is ongoing. Back in 1967, to highlight the civil rights struggle and the need for more students of color at the college, then President Gilman brought Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to campus to speak. The challenges of our world, including everything from the outsized cultural impact of increasingly sophisticated technology and social media, to the rise in mental health concerns exacerbated by the pandemic. These things do not stop outside our college door. Our students grow up amidst these crises and carry them into our classrooms, into our labs, into our experiences in the dorms as well. Our students ask us that we engage their whole selves, their whole spectrum of their experiences. As we enter into this next chapter for our college and for our world, I pledge to lead Occidental as someone who will be interested in trying to help Oxy fulfill what is a vibrant, relevant, socially minded vision of liberal arts and what it can be. This is a time when the very relevance and value of a liberal arts education are questioned. I would argue that liberal arts that teach us to think critically, to solve problems creatively, to apply learning adaptively, are more important now than ever. Specifically, I believe the liberal arts for our times need some reimagining. At Oxy, I see this involving not just new programmatic inventions, but fresh juxtapositions of ideas, remixing past practice with current thinking to evoke future-looking initiatives. These new harmonies, as I'm calling them, incorporate older traditions with new frameworks, bringing into view fresh perspectives, fresh ways of doing what might have been business as usual. You know, that same old, same old. Such new harmonies call for a reinvention of relationships and interconnectedness across fields of inquiry and research, signaling not an end to disciplinary expertise, but a cross-fertilization that both students and faculty seek and need. Such new harmonies can enable deliberate and nuanced integrations of residential and classroom experiences, of student life with curricular developments, of local commitments with global understanding. And such new harmonies will result from our creating honest, real dialogue across difference that fosters understanding, empathy, equity, and inclusion. We can and must live our mission. Now, my use of the expression new harmonies is also purposeful in foregrounding the arts as a vital component of the college's future. I know you're not surprised to hear that now. My hope, figuratively and literally, is to discover and implement ways in which Oxy can create its own new sound and sing its own particular music. New harmonies will emerge when we challenge purportedly contradictory values that are in fact not contradictory at all. After all, equity and excellence are two sides of the same coin. Global concerns are also local. Liberal arts education can have real-world application and direct social impact. Critics of liberal arts education contend that it lacks relevance to career preparation or to the acquisition of usable job skills. In contrast, some others may worry about liberal arts becoming merely vocational. But these are, in fact, false dichotomies. Between seemingly discordant tones, Oxy has found ways to create extraordinary learning experience that feeds students' intellectual hunger and their thirst for personal and professional growth. The mixture of hands-on experiential learning with classroom-based intellectual inquiry can be unique and transformative. It enables students to adapt and to apply lessons to real-life problems and to test what they believe in and then return to the classroom to critically discuss it. In the coming years, new harmonies, I plan, will involve a commitment to increasing the number of these profound, immersive experiences so that this becomes an integral part of Oxy's composition, the Oxy sound and experience. Now, creating new harmonies also means putting in conversation programs across the conventional divide of what C.P. Snow in 1959 called the two cultures, the sciences and the humanities. This new musical score, if you'll indulge the metaphor, can yield fresh scholarly research, can even potentially call us to conscience and to social action. For instance, imagine a sustainability studies curriculum that acknowledges and engages in environmental racism. Well, they engage in studying, sorry. Or imagine a place for student success that houses both academic tutoring and a creative makerspace that facilitates entrepreneurship, or should I say oxypreneurship. Imagine the possibilities for spontaneous collaborations in a new campus building that nestles together two seemingly very different departments, such as computer science and media arts and culture. You know, my late brother, Keith the Guru, was practicing sublime new harmonies when he brought hip-hop and jazz together for the first time in 4 groundbreaking albums, an idea he named Jazzmatazz. He was a pioneer, and Oxy, too, is a rare bird, an urban liberal arts college. The dynamic and diverse global city of LA remains perhaps our most important collaborator in formulating new harmonies. As we identify, develop, and nurture our engagements with LA, we must build mutually beneficial connections to that city, to this city. It is not just a matter of what LA can do for Oxy, it is what Oxy can and will do for LA. And of course, such a focus on urban does not mean it diminishes the importance of the global in the Oxy experience. In fact, one of Oxy's historic strengths is its commitment to educating global citizens and leaders through international study and research. I also fundamentally believe that the arts and the art industry are a key location for our engagement with LA and in creating Oxy's new sound. The arts were decimated by the pandemic as arts organizations, practitioners from performing artists to museums suffered significant economic losses. And now we have an opportunity to help the arts as we help ourselves by forging new relationships between the college, the arts, and with creative practitioners. I mean it when I say the arts really do have the power to change the world, and Oxy must be a center for that. In a recent moment of revelation, my wife, Michelle, pointed out to me something neither of us had noted before when thinking about the idea of new harmonies. The anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, that opened the inauguration ceremony actually contains the line, rings with the harmony of liberty. It's a powerful line that so perfectly resonates with this speech. It almost seemed like divine coincidence, if there is such a thing. Liberty has its own distinct harmony, a harmony that can only be achieved, as the song suggests, by lifting every voice. It is a collective sound, a collaborative, joyful noise that acknowledges the dark days that we have shared, but then imagines, as former Oxy student and President Barack Obama might say, a spirit of hope. Such hope encourages goodwill, bolsters our resolve, strengthens our resilience. The harmony of liberty calls on us to act in the cause of freedom, in the perpetuation of justice, in the articulation of shared democracy. Oxy, too, has an obligation and special role to play in the uplift of democracy. It is an obligation that the whole Oxy community takes seriously. Oxy students are doers, makers, arriving here wanting to make a difference. That commitment to social betterment directly correlates with our mission. At times, sure, the work is difficult, but as Frederick Douglass famously said, where there is no struggle, there is no progress. It is significant that the song Lift Every Voice and Sing expresses a faith in the power of collective struggle and perseverance. I think of that power of communal resilience now as I reflect on the difficult, demanding journey of our Oxy community, in particular over the last 2 pandemic years. At times, it has felt like a trial by fire. But still, in these still uncertain times, I have witnessed the creativity and resolve of our faculty, staff, and students, the faithfulness of our alumni. Encouraged by this unwavering belief in Oxy, I am fortified, inspired, exhilarated for our future. And I hope you too feel this optimism and are ready for all that lies ahead. Given what we've already accomplished together, I know Oxy will reach its fullest potential, its abundancy, its most beautiful harmonic sound. It is indeed a glorious time to be at Occidental College, as we will achieve all that is our legacy and our promise. I am thrilled, humbled, and honored to be your 16th president. Yo triumphe.